Deep within the forests of North America, legends speak of a towering figure that has eluded human understanding for centuries. Known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch, this mysterious creature is said to walk upright, resembling a giant ape, leaving behind footprints far larger than those of any known animal. For decades, eyewitness accounts have surfaced. Hunters, hikers, and locals describing an enormous, shadowy figure moving silently between the trees. Reports often speak of its immense size, a musky odor, and a haunting cry that echoes through the night. Casts of massive footprints have been collected, some measuring over 16 inches in length, with patterns suggesting weight and anatomy beyond human capability. Modern researchers have deployed trail cameras, drones, and sound recording devices in hopes of capturing proof. Yet, despite countless expeditions, conclusive evidence remains just out of reach. The blurry photographs, shaky films, and disputed hair samples only deepen the enigma. Some scientists propose misidentifications of bears or elaborate hoaxes, while others suggest an undiscovered species of primate may still walk these hidden wildernesses. The story of Bigfoot continues to thrive not just in folklore, but in cultural memory, binding together tales from indigenous traditions with modern-day encounters. Whether myth, misperception, or reality, the legend endures. And as the forests remain vast and untamed, one cannot help but wonder, if something truly is out there, watching from the shadows, how much longer will it remain unseen? High in the icy reaches of the Himalayas, stories persist of a creature both feared and revered. The Yeti, often called the abominable snowman, is described as a towering, ape-like figure that roams the desolate slopes where few humans dare to tread. Its legend has been told for generations among Sherpa communities, who speak of it as both a guardian and a threat within the sacred mountains. Western awareness of the Yeti grew in the 19th and 20th centuries, when explorers and mountaineers reported strange tracks in the snow, footprints far larger than any human, trailing across glaciers and vanishing into the mist. In 1951, photographs taken during a British expedition to Everest showed prints unlike those of man or beast, sparking global fascination. Since then, climbers, researchers, and adventurers have carried back similar accounts. Massive tracks, eerie cries at night, fleeting glimpses of something moving against the white expanse. Scientific investigations have yielded mixed results. Samples of hair, bone, and scat attributed to the Yeti have often been linked to known animals, such as bears or yaks. Yet, the persistence of consistent stories, across cultures and centuries, suggests something more than myth alone. Some anthropologists propose the Yeti may be a cultural echo of early encounters with unknown primates, preserved in folklore and memory. Still, as snowstorms erase the traces and peaks remain unconquered by certainty, the Yeti's mystery endures. Perhaps it is legend woven from fear and reverence of the mountains, or perhaps, somewhere among the frozen ridges, a living relic waits, leaving only whispers in the snow. Deep within the remote rivers and swamps of the Congo Basin, tales persist of a creature that seems to belong to another age. Known as Mokulmbembe, its name translates to one who stops the flow of rivers, and for generations it has been described as a massive, long-necked animal moving silently through the water. To local communities, it is no mere myth. It is spoken of as a living presence, as real as the crocodiles and hippos that share its world. Western explorers first heard of Mokulmbembe in the early 20th century, when accounts of a dinosaur-like beast began reaching scientific circles. Descriptions painted the image of a creature resembling a sauropod, with a bulky body, strong tail, and elongated neck rising above the swamp grass. Expeditions launched in search of it have returned with stories of strange encounters, large waves on still rivers, unusual tracks along muddy banks, and the sudden silence of wildlife, as though something unseen were passing close by. Skeptics argue that the legends may arise from exaggerated sightings of known animals, perhaps hippos, elephants, or large reptiles glimpsed in difficult conditions. Yet no definitive evidence has ever been captured, despite decades of interest from cryptozoologists, adventurers, and scientists alike. The swamp remains largely unexplored, its dense canopy and vast waterways guarding secrets from human intrusion. And so, the legend of Mokumbembe persists, a creature caught between folklore and possibility. Whether it is memory of ancient animals carried through oral tradition or a living remnant of a prehistoric world, the rivers of the Congo keep their secret well. Somewhere in the endless green, the water still stirs with mystery. In the mid-1990s, whispers of a strange predator began to spread across Puerto Rico. Farmers awoke to find their livestock, goats, chickens, and cattle, lying lifeless, drained of blood, with puncture wounds marking their bodies. Locals gave it a name that would soon echo far beyond the island, the chupacabra, meaning goatsucker. Early descriptions spoke of a bizarre creature, reptilian in appearance, standing on two legs with glowing red eyes and sharp spines running down its back. Sightings quickly multiplied across Latin America, with reports of similar attacks on animals in Mexico, Chile, and later the southern United States. Each account carried the same unnerving detail: animals left behind with little blood, as though something had fed in the night. Investigators have proposed various explanations. Some point to wild dogs or coyotes afflicted with mange, whose thin frames and strange appearance may have fueled the legend. Others argue that the sheer consistency of livestock killings, often with no clear signs of struggle, suggests a mystery that science has yet to fully unravel. Meanwhile, cryptozoologists maintain that the chupacabra could represent an unknown species, adapted to nocturnal hunting and hidden from human eyes. Despite extensive media coverage and numerous expeditions, no conclusive evidence has ever been secured. Yet the legend refuses to fade, adapting with each retelling, its image shifting between reptilian beast and hairless canine. Whether born from misidentification, folklore, or something more, the chupacabra lingers as a dark reminder that not every shadow in the countryside can be easily explained. And still, under moonlit skies, the mystery waits. You said, in the dense forests of southern New Jersey lies the Pine Barrens, a region steeped in legend and shadow. For more than 2 centuries, locals have spoken of a creature that stalks its remote trails and lonely clearings, the Jersey Devil. Its origins are traced to colonial folklore, where a cursed 13th child, born to Mother Leeds in the 1700s, was said to transform into a winged beast before vanishing into the night. Descriptions of the Jersey Devil vary, but many accounts describe a creature with the body of a kangaroo, the head of a horse, leathery bat-like wings, horns, and a piercing cry unlike any known animal. Reports of its presence have surfaced repeatedly: strange footprints in snow, eerie sounds echoing through the pines, and sudden appearances that vanish as quickly as they come. The most famous wave of sightings occurred in 1909, when hundreds across New Jersey and neighboring states claimed to encounter the creature. Schools closed, newspapers filled their pages with accounts, and fear spread through towns as people reported attacks on livestock and unexplained tracks crisscrossing rooftops and fields. Skeptics point to folklore, misidentifications, or even mass hysteria as explanations for the legend's persistence. Yet, to this day, the Pine Barrens remain tied to its name, with modern witnesses still reporting fleeting glimpses of something gliding between the trees. The Jersey Devil endures as more than myth. It is a symbol woven into the identity of the region. And as night falls over the endless pines, the question remains, is it merely a story carried by fear, or does something truly fly beneath the cover of darkness? In the wetlands, billabongs, and riverbanks of Australia, stories have long told of a mysterious creature known as the bunyip. Rooted in Aboriginal traditions, the bunyip is described as a fearsome presence of the water, a being whose cry pierces the night and whose shape seems to shift depending on the tale. Some speak of a massive beast with a dog-like face, flippers, and a long neck. Others describe it as an amphibious predator with glowing eyes and an echoing roar. European settlers in the 19th century added their own accounts, reporting strange roars from marshes and the discovery of unusual bones that some believed belonged to the bunyip. Newspapers of the era carried sensational stories of encounters, fueling curiosity and fear alike. Scholars and naturalists attempted to connect the legends with real animals, suggesting misidentified seals, giant birds, or even the last remnants of prehistoric marsupials. Yet none of these theories fully explain the depth of the lore or the variety of descriptions passed down through generations. For Indigenous Australians, the bunyip often carries more than physical form. It is a spirit of warning, tied to sacred places and cautionary tales meant to respect the dangers of waterways. To others, it represents the blending of myth and natural mystery, a creature that thrives in the borderlands between imagination and reality. Today, the bunyip remains an enduring figure in Australian culture, its presence felt in folklore, literature, and art. And still, across the silent waterways at night, the question lingers: is the bunyip a legend born of fear, or a creature that continues to slip just out of sight? Deep within the dense jungles of Sumatra, stories circulate of a small, elusive humanoid known as the orang pendek. Its name translates to short person, and for centuries local villagers and forest dwellers have described encounters with this mysterious being. Said to stand between 3 to 5 feet tall, it is often depicted as powerfully built, covered in short hair, and walking upright with a distinctly human-like gait. Legends of the orang pendek stretch back through generations of oral tradition, treated with the same seriousness as any known creature of the forest. Accounts from Western explorers began emerging in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when Dutch colonists and later naturalists claimed to have seen the figure moving quickly through the undergrowth. More recently, researchers and cryptozoologists have collected footprints, eyewitness testimonies, and reports of fleeting sightings by locals, trekkers, and conservation workers. Some scientists suggest the orang pendek could be an undiscovered primate, possibly related to orangutans or gibbons, adapted to a ground-dwelling lifestyle. Others have speculated it might represent a surviving population of an ancient human species, such as Homo floresiensis, whose remains were discovered on a neighboring Indonesian island in 2003. Despite these theories, no conclusive physical evidence has ever been secured. The jungles of Sumatra remain vast and largely unexplored, filled with hidden valleys and remote terrain where such a creature could remain unseen. As modern expeditions continue, the orang pendek lingers at the edge of discovery, leaving behind only whispers in the forest and footprints that fade into the earth. Somewhere beneath the canopy, mystery still walks. Across the shifting sands of the Gobi Desert, a legend endures of a creature so strange and feared that even to speak its name is considered dangerous. Known as the Mongolian deathworm, it is said to dwell beneath the dunes, surfacing only in the harshest seasons. Descriptions paint it as a thick, blood-red worm, up to several feet long, with no discernible head or eyes, moving with an unsettling, serpentine motion. Local traditions describe the deathworm not only as a physical beast, but as one with lethal powers. It is said to spit corrosive venom that burns flesh, or to release an electric discharge capable of killing from a distance. For generations, nomadic herders have passed down stories of livestock and even people falling victim to the creature after venturing too close to its domain. The very idea of its presence has instilled deep caution in those who travel the desert's endless expanses. In the 20th century, reports of the Mongolian deathworm drew the attention of explorers and cryptozoologists who set out to uncover the truth. Despite expeditions, interviews with locals, and investigations aided by modern technology, no definitive evidence has ever been found, only tracks in the sand and accounts that fuel its legend. Some scientists suggest the stories may be inspired by sightings of real desert animals, their traits magnified by fear and myth. Yet the Gobi remains vast, its secrets buried beneath endless dunes. Whether the Mongolian deathworm is a living creature, a cautionary tale, or something between the two, its legend continues to ripple through the desert winds, an unseen menace beneath the sands. Beneath the dark, cold waters of Scotland's Loch Ness lies one of the world's most enduring mysteries. For centuries, tales have spoken of a massive creature lurking in the depths, known simply as the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie. Descriptions vary, but many accounts describe a long-necked figure with a bulky body rising from the surface before slipping silently back below. The earliest written reference dates to the 6th century, when a Scottish monk recorded a river beast attacking a swimmer near the loch. But it was in the 20th century that Nessie gained worldwide fame. In 1933, a couple driving along the loch reported seeing a great creature crossing the road into the water, sparking a wave of fascination. Soon after, the famous surgeon's photograph appeared to show a long neck and head breaking the surface, an image later revealed to be a hoax, but one that cemented the monster's place in legend. Since then, countless eyewitnesses have claimed sightings: humps gliding across the water, sudden disturbances on the loch surface, and unexplained sonar readings hinting at large moving objects beneath. Scientific studies have searched the loch with sonar sweeps, underwater cameras, and most recently DNA sampling, yet results remain inconclusive. Some suggest the sightings could be explained by large fish, eels, or optical illusions, while others hold fast to the possibility of an unknown species. Still, Loch Ness remains quiet and mysterious, its vast depths concealing more than they reveal. Whether Nessie is a legend, a misperception, or a hidden reality, the waters of the Highlands continue to guard their secret, and the world still watches, waiting for what may surface. In the quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a legend took flight in the mid-1960s. Witnesses began reporting a towering figure with glowing red eyes and enormous wings, a creature that would come to be known as the Mothman. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, it was said to move silently, its wings spanning wide, capable of lifting into the air without a sound. The first widely known sighting occurred in November 1966, when 2 couples driving near an abandoned munitions plant claimed to see the strange being watching from the shadows. In the months that followed, dozens of reports emerged, drivers encountering the creature along lonely roads, residents hearing its piercing screeches, and eerie eyes glowing in the darkness. Panic spread, drawing journalists, investigators, and curious onlookers into the small town. The Mothman sightings reached their peak in December 1967, when tragedy struck. The Silver Bridge, connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio, suddenly collapsed, killing 46 people. In the aftermath, some began to believe the Mothman was not merely a creature but a harbinger of disaster, a warning of catastrophe yet to come. Explanations have ranged from misidentified birds, such as sandhill cranes, to mass hysteria fueled by fear and rumor. Yet the consistency of eyewitness accounts, paired with the timing of events, keeps the mystery alive. Today, the Mothman is woven into the identity of Point Pleasant, remembered in festivals, statues, and stories. But the question lingers: was it only myth born of fear, or did something truly winged and watchful emerge from the night, leaving behind more questions than answers?